when you want some prints, but you also want props. Prints and props. Yeah!
Hello everybody and welcome to a very special episode of Prints and Props. I am proud today to introduce you to my Black Panther costume. It is of course the costume from the 2018 Black Panther film and Avengers Endgame. This costume was the result of about 2 years of effort and trial and error and trying to get this thing right. And I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. If you're just interested to see the suit, we're going to do some cool shots of it here in a little bit that you can take a look at. And if you're interested in how it was made, stick around after that because we're going to do a lot of information on what went into actually building this suit. So thank you so much and enjoy. So behind me you can see the mannequin there, and we're gonna go ahead and get that assembled and talk a little bit about it and the construction behind it. So we're gonna do a quick time lapse putting this thing together because it is a bit awkward. Okay, so that actually didn't take nearly as long as I thought it was going to, so you got kind of the fast-forwarded version of the assembly of the mannequin. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of talk a little bit about the mannequin and about the different parts and kind of how the construction went. So it is 3D printed. It was 3D printed with a 1mm nozzle on my Creality CR10. I have 2 of them, so I split up the job between both of them. It's got 2mm walls on all of the shells. It was split up into multiple pieces to fit on the printer beds. You can kind of see if you look closely some of the seam lines where I kind of had to glue the parts together. I glued the parts together with the super glue kind of temporarily during all the finish work, and then after each bit was glued together, then got filled with 2-partner and expanding foam. And that actually gives the suit, or the mannequin, sorry, actually gives the mannequin quite a bit of strength. It's pretty darn sturdy. The one spot where it's not so sturdy is at the top of the head here because the expanding foam didn't get all the way to the top. So unfortunately, he did have a bit of a mishap and he fell in the workshop with the back of his head broke off. Luckily, you're not going to see that. You don't even see it just when you're looking at the mannequin. You definitely won't see it when the suit is on. So yeah, the suit is broken up into a couple of, or I'm sorry, the mannequin is the same suit. We'll talk about the suit later. The The mannequin is broken up into a couple of different pieces. Basically, his two legs are cut off here and here, so each leg is its own thing. Each arm is its own thing here and here. There is a bit of a gap here just because of the way that I figured out how to kind of do the joints. Unfortunately, it didn't line up perfectly. You don't really notice when the suit is actually on the leg. And then each hand is individual as well. And the hand, instead of being filled with a rigid foam, got filled with a flexible foam. That way, I could kind of squeeze the fingers together so that I could put gloves over them when I get to that stage. So yeah, the painting process for this, after all the pieces were assembled and they have the expanding foam filled inside of them, I went over it with like a paint removal wheel on my angle grinder just to kind of help smooth it out. And then I covered it all in black two-part epoxy, just like gold epoxy that I tinted black with some black pigment. So once that was done, then everything got powdered nice and well with graphite powder, and then finally finished with Quicksilver Chrome from Createx. It's a water-based paint. And there are a few spots where the finish has come off. It was actually the epoxy pulling up from the piece. And the reason that happened is because this mannequin was used in the construction of the suit, and specifically when we were making the muscle suit. And so basically the muscle suit went over this and each of the muscles got glued down onto the spandex, and some of the glue seeped through the suit and latched itself onto the epoxy. And then when I was pulling the muscle suit off of the mannequin for the next set of assembly, then it pulled some of the epoxy up. So again, not really noticeable once everything is on it. Actually, the whole reason that he's even chrome, I probably should have just kept him all black. The whole reason that he's even chrome is because the original idea was to put the outer spandex suit with the printed texture on the mannequin directly. However, once I got the muscle suit all going and everything like that, that actually ended up looking cooler with underneath the suit than just on the mannequin. So his color really doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I put in all that work to make it shiny and chrome, and you don't see it. But anyway, it is a cool mannequin. It's got a nice, strong kind of look to it. His head is extremely small, which is nice for fitting a helmet on, because then you get those kind of heroic proportions. So anyway, so that's basically the mannequin. And now we're going to do a time lapse of me putting the muscle suit on. So here we go. So here's the muscle suit as it stands right now. Pretty basic, but yeah, we'll talk more about that here once we get it on the mannequin. Okay, so we got the muscle suit on the mannequin. It was excruciatingly difficult, but it's done. They did, the zipper on the back unfortunately broke while I was doing that. Luckily, the entire thing is pretty tight, and especially with the oversuit on it, it holds really nice and snug. You can see here the lighting system. There are a couple of glitches, and I think that's due to the way that these NeoPixels work. Basically, the longer runs that you get of lights, the more prone to glitches that they are. But anyway, the lighting system is controlled via Bluetooth on my cell phone. I can make it do all kinds of different animations, different colors. It's really cool. Unfortunately, I'm recording with my phone right now, so I can't change them. Actually, there. I'll pause here. We'll change it. You can see here sometimes a couple of glitches, specifically around the pec area here. There might be a wiring error. This was a very complex wiring system to get worked out. It's not just one single strip of LEDs. It is tiny LED modules that are all wired together. And we'll do some close-ups of that here in a little bit. We'll talk more about that. But it was extremely challenging, but I didn't want just kind of an arbitrary arrangement of LEDs, like an LED strip just kind of zigzag all around the suit. I kind of wanted it to follow the arrangement of the muscles. So you can see here, kind of outlines the abs, outlines the pecs, outlines kind of the collar area, some down to the legs. Just to kind of give it a more kind of cohesive appearance of the lights. And of course, I did want to be able to control it via Bluetooth. So this is a nice system. I did have to kind of finagle the wiring a bit to get it to actually function because the controller wants to run at 12 volts, but the USB battery pack that I'm using only outputs 5 volts. But the LED strips are 5 volts. So I had to actually convert up just for the power for the strips and then leave it at 5 volts for the data pins. So a little bit of a hack job as far as the wiring is concerned. So it's probably why there's a couple of glitches, but all in all, once it's on the suit, you don't really notice it. In fact, in my opinion, the different lighting function of the suit actually is a lot cooler than the LED lighting function of the suit. So, okay, so we're going to turn the lights off now. We're going to unplug the battery and kind of look a little bit more in depth on the muscle suit. All right, so we've got the lights turned off here, and I kind of want to just talk about the muscle suit and kind of how it works. The muscle suit is originally just a black Zentai suit for the base, and then everything is glued on top of it. The muscles themselves are cast up smooth on Flex Foam at 3, which is a really soft, flexible foam material. You can see that they do still have quite a bit of squish on them, and that was really important for me because I didn't want something too rigid for the person wearing this. I wanted them to still be able to move around. However, it was really important to me that the muscles were able to be chromed. This is harkening back to the designers of the Black Panther suit said they were inspired by the Man of Steel muscle suit, which if you're not familiar, Henry Cavill had a fully chrome muscle suit underneath his spandex suit. And so they were inspired by that and decided to kind of do their own play on that. So the Black Panther suit also had a chrome muscle suit underneath it. So the way that I did that was I cast the muscles in Flex Foam at 3 in 3D printed molds. And those 3D printed molds had a ton of mold release sprayed in them so that I could actually extract the muscles out. The way those 3D printed molds were done was kind of cool because basically I took the digital file that I had of the mannequin and of the suit and would extract muscles off of the digital mannequin and use that to create a shell of the muscle that I could then do a cast of. And I also made a core that I could use to squish the foam to make it a nice, even, consistent thickness. So kind of cool way of doing it, I think. But after the muscles were cast up and pulled out of the molds, I then had to cover them in a urethane rubber that was compatible with silver nitrate spray chrome. So each muscle then got the silver nitrate spray chrome treatment and then had to get a clear coat put over that. And the clear coat that I used for this was a clear coat called TC90 from BJB Industries. And it's really great stuff and it stays nice and flexible and it's perfect for doing spray chromes on urethanes, rubbers, or things like that, flexible things. And you're going to be hearing more about that in the coming months as I do some more experiments with it, but a really nice product. So that was basically it for the casting and the painting of the muscles. Then I had to, of course, adhere them, and they were primarily adhered with smooth-on Urabond, which is a flexible urethane adhesive. Works really well for gluing flexible urethane rubber onto fabrics. There's also another product called Armabond from BJB, and I use that a lot in the oversuit, but I use mostly Urabond 2 on the undersuit here. So yeah, the lights here. It's kind of hard to see here, but let's see if we can get a little closer. But if you look here, you can see kind of the wires and the arrangement of the RGB LEDs. And the reason that it's done this way is I didn't really want just like an arbitrary layout of the LEDs. I wanted it to kind of follow the flow of the muscles. So each kind of LED module, there's some with as few as one LED, there's some with 5 or 6 LEDs, but it's not one continuous strip, so each one had to be wired together. And to accomplish that, I used very flexible silicone sheathed wire that's kind of used for hooking up, flexible wiring for breadboards or circuit boards or whatever. And I left a little bit of slack in each wire. And that's because kind of as the wearer is moving around, I didn't want the wires to reach their full point of being stretched, that they couldn't move anymore without pulling off the PCB trace. So that's why they look that way. Now they're glued to the suit just using silicone caulk, just like you buy at the hardware store. And that actually saturates into the fabric of the spandex Zentai suit and holds on really, really well. So it's really nice and flexible and a little bit stretchy. So for this purpose, was really great. And of course, the glue looks a little bit messy. Everything looks kind of crazy, but once you get the suit put on it, of course, you don't really see any of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the muscle suit. So we're going to go ahead and get the outer suit, the actual Black Panther suit, put on, and we're going to time lapse that because it does take a little bit and is a little bit difficult. So here we go. All right, so here he is, finally on the mannequin. Man, it is challenging getting this thing on, because the mannequin is very rigid. It's made out of plastic and can't, wiggle and move to help the suit get on. So pretty challenging. Does take a while. Getting the suit off the mannequin is a heck of a lot easier than putting it on. But yeah, so let's go through and talk about some of the individual components. So the first thing I want to showcase is the passive lighting feature of the suit. So there is glow in the dark and UV reactive pigment embedded in all of the shiny spots on the suit. So when you take a UV flashlight or some kind of UV light and shine it on the suit, it glows. Let's see, we might have to pull back a little bit. So I think that's a really cool feature and not something that you see a lot in these costumes. Went ahead and turned on my film light so we can take a little bit better look at this. So you can see really how the chrome muscles kind of shine underneath the outer bodysuit. And the reason for that is because the outer bodysuit is made of a kind of semi-translucent material. See, you can see the traps under there. And so that really helps kind of show the muscle suit through the suit, which is why I wanted to put the muscle suit on the mannequin rather than just having the bodysuit over just the raw mannequin. So yeah, so something kind of cool that I want to talk about is this printing here. This was actually not screen printed, not heat transfer vinyl, actually done using a new method to directly apply silicone onto fabric. And the result is really cool, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now, I actually developed that method myself, and the problem is that this entire suit was kind of a giant experiment in developing that. And so there are some bits of it that don't look quite as good as others. Specifically you can see here where it came out a bit light. But overall, as a suit, I think it came out really great. You can really kind of see the triangle texture here, And yeah, so the entire suit texture was applied using that new technology. So I'm hoping to continue to improve upon that technology and be able to use it for more suits in the future. So let's talk about all of the kind of raised spiky bits and whatnot. We'll start at the hands. The hands are made out of a very, very flexible, very squishy Shore 10A urethane. And all of these are cast out of molds. Some of them were cast out of direct 3D printed molds, but most of them were cast out of silicone molds. So almost all of the spiky bits that you see are cast in a Shore 50A urethane. The exception is, of course, being the hands. Because I really wanted kind of ultimate flexibility, you know, to be able to open and close your hand. So all of the outer pieces are glued on with BJB Armor Bond, which is a urethane adhesive. And these pieces are all painted using our good friend graphite powder. I think that gives a really nice kind of specularity, and really kind of sells that metallic look. The way that worked was they were actually cold cast in graphite powder, and then after they were pulled out of the mold, more graphite powder was applied over the top of that. The helmet here is just like other Black Panther helmets I've made, except it does have that illumination feature. The faceplate is removable. It's kind of a pain to get back on, so I'm not going to do that. And then the back plate, of course, opens up, hinges open that way to allow the wearer to get their head inside. So yeah, the feet here, these are cast in Shore 50A urethane. That's just EVA foam with a topper there. Again, you can really see the nice texture on the suit there. But yeah, so that's basically it for the suit. You know, it's going to be displayed on the mannequin here, and I'm going to build kind of a big display for a couple of my other costumes and some of the other stuff that I have, some of the other props, and build kind of a nice display in my dining room here. Also to cover up those spots where the wallpaper came off. Anyway, so yeah, one last thing is we're going to turn the lights on so you can see what the lights on look like underneath the suit. So stand by. So there you go, there's the lights on the suit, fully lit. Of course, we are having a bit of glitching, so I'll probably go through and resolder those. But overall, pretty incredible, I think. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm calling this project fully finished. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I couldn't be happier with how this suit turned out, and it's gonna stand on the mannequin, be displayed in my house for many years to come, and maybe get worn a couple times at a couple of conventions. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's ever helped me out with ideas and techniques and things like that as we've gone. I couldn't be prouder of this, and I hope to be doing more builds in the future. So thank you guys so much. If you liked this, feel free to subscribe. I don't upload content that often, but when I do upload, I try to make it cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.